What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 5 of the Ultimate League. And in this episode, we are going into a game against Wolfsburg in the Barclays Premier League. We're currently sitting in 12th position, just in front of Liverpool and also Barcelona and Monaco. The table's very, very even at the moment, and there's a lot of teams that are fighting for that top spot, but there's also a lot of teams that are fighting for the relegation spot as well and trying not to get relegated. At the moment, Liverpool are, I think, one place behind or one place in front of Arsenal. Arsenal are currently in the relegation zone, which I didn't think would actually happen because they've got quite a solid squad, but maybe they're the ones that are going to get relegated this season. Maybe we are. I don't know yet. At the moment, we're not in the relegation zone. We're doing better than we expected, really. 13th place, that is pretty good, if you ask me. It's either 13th or 12th place, but you know, that's still pretty decent. And going into this game against Wolfsburg, we had a bit of confidence, I guess you could say. I mean, coming away from a 2-1 loss to Paris Saint-Germain in the last episode, not too bad indeed, but you can see there that we're currently behind Atletico Madrid and Manchester City, who are 2 points ahead of us. So we really do want to get a win in this game to ensure that we don't kind of drop off to the relegation zone, because we don't want to be among those relegation candidates. And the game really starts with Wolfsburg attacking, really, but we pick up the ball here, give it to Kolben. I think that's Ajide Afoe doing a lovely through ball over the top to Fisher, and this was very, very controversial. A red card for Naldo. I know he was one-on-one, but to be honest, I'm pretty sure he would have scored from that chance. He would have gone further and further, because Victor Fisher is a pretty strong guy. He doesn't look strong, but Naldo is tall as hell. And Victor Fisher's still pretty tall as well. I think he's about 5'11", 5'11" or 6 foot, I think he is, if I'm right in saying. But we do get a free kicker for this. Hajrovic is going to step up to take this. He's got godly free kicks. And for some reason, a really, really weird kind of action there from Benaglio, the Wolfsburg keeper. He kind of tried to catch it, but then he parried it with his head. Really didn't know what was going on there. I'm sure he didn't either. I mean, the free kick from Hadrovic was pretty good, but it wasn't enough. And then the header from the corner was cleared off the line by the defender. Despite the fact that they had 10 men, it took all the way till the 21st minute before we had another chance in the game. Victor Fisher crossing it in and almost going in. Siem de Jong's header almost finding the back of the net, but Benaglio does tip the ball over the bar, and that would have been a nice little goal to score. And from this, we do pick up the ball here, I think. Blind picks up the ball here, passes it down to Anita. Anita running down the wing, trying to cross the ball in, but the cross is just not good enough. And in the end, the goalkeeper does manage to catch it. But one thing I have noticed is this team is very difficult to play with. If you compare my performances with the Bristol Rovers team, look at that goal there. I just want to say, before I carry on, look at that goal. That is absolutely ridiculous. What a horrific mistake there from the goalkeeper in the 28th minute. We managed to score to make it 1-0. But anyway, as I was saying, it's a lot difficult. I don't know if it's because our team's so weak compared to the other teams in this league, and that is why I'm struggling, or this team is just very hard to score goals with. Either way, I still need to get used to this team, but if you compare it to... I've still got the same difficulty on World Class as I do with the Bristol Rovers Career Mode series, but if you compare my performances, they were a lot worse on this Career Mode, which is quite interesting to see, because on the Bristol Rovers Career Mode, I'm winning almost every game, and I'm losing a little amount of games, not that many. But in this Career Mode, I'm finding it a lot harder to win games and score goals. But we do make it 2-0 there, nonetheless, with Victor Fisher getting 2 goals in this game. And that does mean that he's one of the top goal scorers in the BPL at the moment, which is pretty decent. But there's a lot of players that are currently on 3 goals in the BPL at the moment. 3 or 4, I think, Victor Fisher is on. But in all competitions, I'm pretty sure it's a lot more than that, because I'm pretty sure he did score a couple of goals in the win at AC Milan in the Capital One Cup. But we should have scored there to make it 3-0 with Hajrovic. I think that might have been his weak foot, but nonetheless, that really should have gone into the back of the net. Really poor finish from him. And after the game, I did have a look at his card. He only does have 71 finishing, but he does have decent shot power, so I did expect something a little bit better from him there. But once again, a chance that was really wasted, considering that they had 10 men. We should have capitalised on our chances a lot more. We had a lot more than Wolfsburg did, despite the fact that they had really good passing. But Varinia here, I think, is on the ball, doing some lovely dribbling work and a lovely 1-2. And down the wing he comes and back inside. And it was just poor defending. Like, if you compare that to the Bristol Rovers Career Mode series, that would never happen. My defence is a lot more solid and the players I've got are a lot weaker. So it seems a little bit strange there. But we do concede a goal there. And that, once again, is due to poor defending. Look at that dribbling skill, though, there from Varinia. I have to take my hat off to him. That was pretty good dribbling there. And really, really nice, actually, in fact. And a tidy finish underneath the goalkeeper. But once again, in the 86th minute, you know what's coming. Moisander gets pushed off the ball. Is that a foul? That is very controversial. I thought that that was definitely a foul. And in the end, they do cut it inside with a double tap cross. And they put it into the back of the net. That might have been Olic, I think. And that was very, very disappointing, actually. Because that should have been a foul. Considering that Naldo got sent off, that definitely should have been a foul. And we should have won the game, you know, dropping unnecessary points there. And drawing the game 2-2. Really, really unfortunate there. And it's such a shame because we were so dominant in this game. And the fact that they had Naldo sent off, we had the upper advantage. But we just couldn't take our chances. It's as simple as that. We just weren't clinical enough. And unfortunately, we do only come away with 1 point. Despite the fact that we were dominant in the game. Although they did have a lot of possession, Wolfsburg. They almost had 60. Yes, that's right. 60% possession. But you can see that AS Monaco did draw with Spurs 2-2. Which is quite interesting. But you can see the top goal scorers, Van Persie is at the top with Eto'o and Chadli. That's interesting, actually. Chadli is a little bit of a goal scorer there for Tottenham and getting 4 goals in the league. That's pretty interesting, actually, considering he's not a striker. He's not a lone striker. He's more of a winger, to be honest. So for him to have got 4 goals already, that's pretty impressive. But Victor Fish is a winger too, and he's got 3 goals. He's currently 13th in the top goal scorers, so that's pretty decent. But anyway, we're going into, I think this might be an FA Cup game. No, it's a Capital One Cup game. This is the 3rd round, I think it might be, 2nd or 3rd round, and it is against Manchester City. And Manchester City, that's going to be a very difficult opponent because Manchester City have such a solid and deep squad this year because they've got the additions of Fernandinho, they've got Stevan Jovetic and Clichy here, which is absolutely doing my defence and almost got a goal there at the near post, but luckily Vermeer wasn't caught out of the near post. That would have been a very disappointing goal to concede, but he almost did it, to be honest. He tipped it onto the post with his hand, which was pretty ridiculous, to be honest. He's not the most solid of keepers in this league, but if you compare him to the keepers in the Dutch league, he's by far the best keeper in my opinion. And Siem de Jong there, having a header once again, but he's just not doing the work for me. He's really not doing well at that central attacking mid position. I have tried to change the formation as well, but it just hasn't worked. And you can see there, the big boy, Kostel Pantilimon. He is absolutely ginormous. I mean, he's about 6'6", I think he is, and managing to parry that corner away and make sure that we didn't get a goal early on in the game. But it's Manchester City instead that are going on the attack here. They were kind of passing it round at the back, trying to create some space, but they really do pay for it here. Vernon Anita finds an open Kolben and he slides it into the back of the net. Really poor shot, but I think it did not make the defender on the way, and that might have been Nastasic. And Pantilimon, the big boy, can't quite get down to that, despite the fact he is very tall. He's probably one of the tallest BPL keepers there is, actually, in the actual league. Not in Ultimate League, but in the actual BPL. And yeah, it does. I think I might have been Zabaleta or Clichy's legs that it does nutmeg there. And Kostel Pantilimon, he wouldn't have saved that anyway. I don't think Joe Hart would have saved that if he was in the net. But he wasn't in this game. And you can see here Bojan just absolutely tearing apart Manchester City's defence. They did have Dedrick Boyata at the back. And he's not the most solid of centre-backs at the start of the game. So I was looking to exploit that. And exploit that I did. But the big boy Kostel Pantilimon comes up with a great save once again. And we had the upper hand of the chances in the kind of first 50 minutes of the game, but then after that Manchester City kind of found their feet and they started pressing a little bit more. You can see here, I think that might have been David Silva getting onto the ball, and he passes it down to Clichy, who absolutely obliterates Van Rijn for pace at that right back position. A nice 1-2, and then Aguero beats Kurt Zouma at the near post for a header. I did not expect that. I thought that Kurt Zouma would have had that, considering he's about 6'2", but unfortunately he couldn't quite get to that header, which was a bit disappointing, really. Actually, that might have been Daily Blind, actually, thinking about it, because he was at the left-back position. But anyway, they were on the attack once again. It wasn't till extra time where they got a penalty. Moisander has been very, I don't know, he's been up and down, really. Some games he's been an absolute god, and then other games like this, he was very shaky, and he shouldn't have taken Jesus Navas down there. There was no need to do that. I did nothing in that, and it was the AI mainly controlling him and making sure that he was taken down in the box. Aguero steps up for this penalty. We have to save this to stay in the game, and save it we do in great fashion. Vermeer coming up with the goods late on in the game, and in the 120th minute we had such a good chance there to finish off the game and make sure it didn't go to penalties, but unfortunately that was the case. We are going to penalties in this game, and what a game it was. I mean, chances in extra time were just so limited, but when they did come about, that penalty really should have been tucked away. But it was a 50-50 chance, and I managed to save it, so very lucky there from me. And Aguero, I guess you could say that Vermeer had quite a good game, because 11 shots on 9 on target. They did not have that at 45 minutes played. We were absolutely dominant in the game, but we missed our first penalty there with Colben, which is a little bit disappointing. And then Aguero does tuck that one straight down the middle. Very nice penalty from him. Butner then converts the next one very nicely indeed, down to the left-hand side and up. And then, despite the fact that we went the right way, it wasn't quite enough, probably because Vermeer is quite a midget in goal compared to Costel Pantilimon. And Negredo there with a solid penalty into the bottom right hand corner. And do we tuck this one away? Yes, we do. Over the top of Costel Pantilimon, despite the fact that he's like 6'6", we still managed to do it. Then we save David Silva's penalty very nicely with Vermeer. And then we tuck the next one away with Victor Fischer. Very nice penalty there. Toure has to score this, otherwise it's game over. And we do indeed save it. 2 saves in the penalty shootout from Vermeer. And that does mean that we do go forward in the Capital One Cup. Very undeserved, because Man City were the better team. But guys, if you have enjoyed this episode of Career Mode and want more Career Mode from me, please be sure to like and subscribe. 40 likes for this episode will be much appreciated. And I'll see you next time for another episode. Thanks for watching.